We're talking about whether sex sells music today, and during the commercial break, I met the Slater family here, and there's a 10-year-old in this family, and you said that you were very struck, Mom, by watching that 12-year-old, Chanel, over there, so impressed with Lil' Kim. What hit you?
It hit me that she was so impressed with Kim's music and the lyrics. I've listened to the CD, so I know the sexually explicit lyrics. My 14-year-old son gave me the tape and told me, "Here, Ma, I don't want it." But he has guidance. He has us in our life, and we're guiding him. I'm thankful for that. What about the young people? Like you say, it should be up to the music industry, the radios, you know, to not play this music. They can pick up these tapes and these CDs anywhere. They can copy them from friends, from older kids. You know, what about the children that don't have that guidance in their life? Somebody to tell them.
If music were to blame, we would have had a generation of drug addicts from Elvis and the Beatles.
We're not blaming.
You can't just blame music. We have a whole generation of children that are being wiped out from an AIDS epidemic. Why can't you sing
music? You just can't blame
No,
music.
I'm not saying music, honey. I'm not saying just music. Okay, right now we're talking about the sexually explicit music. I'm not just saying music. Why can't we sing songs about telling people that it's not okay to go out here and open your legs to anybody and have sex with anybody?
People do that. There are plenty of records like that, but that's not, the world is not all bubblegum and candy.
No, what happened?
And if you, I have children too. I got a 13-year-old daughter, I got a 10-year-old daughter, and God bless me, last Tuesday I just had my first son. I'm behind my kids 100%, and I teach them right from wrong. And until my daughter gets of age, she's not allowed to listen to Little Kim, but Kim puts a parental advisory sticker on the album.
From Mr. Slater here, and then Kim, I want to come to you, and then I know you want to say something too, Davis. Go on.
It's true that we live in a sexual society. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. But we also have to take into consideration that there are degrees in that sexual society. Point blank, we are adults. We have a right to tell these young people, you are not supposed to be listening to this. There are people who can tell you her songs and don't know their multiplication tables. Our priorities are in the wrong place.
And I bet you when you was coming up, and my mother is sitting there right behind you, there were songs that her father wouldn't let her hear because in those days it was too sexually explicit for them.
What does Lil' Kim have to say?
We get older, we grow, and it becomes more wide open.
Go on, Kim.
I just want to ask a question. Well, I just want to make a statement, really. You said, what about those that don't have guidance? Every child that's out there, because when I was in the streets, I looked up to somebody. That person, whoever I looked up to, always took responsibility in telling me what was right and what was wrong. But even though I did what I wanted to anyway, inside of me, I knew what was right too. Because
what you're doing is right.
Exactly.
What you're saying is what you're doing is right. And that's the statement.
Well, I'm not saying from where I come from, this is what I've known, this is where I've been. You know what I mean?
But when someone is looking at you, when someone is looking at you say this, when someone is looking at you do whatever you're doing, they're watching you. That's a peer that you are their peer.
Exactly, but then it goes back to what he's saying. When you was younger and someone told you not to do something and you did it anyway.
When you were in the street, like you said you were in the street, there were times when your mother did not have control over you because of the situation that your mother was going through. If that was the case, then let's say that same young person who does not have a mother who's out there working, listening to it 97. With no guidance whatsoever. That's big problems.
Yeah.
Let's bring in my next guest because some people say it's censorship if we're going to start telling what Ed can play and what he can't play and what our kids can listen to. My next guest is certainly no stranger to censorship. When Tipper Gore spearheaded congressional meetings just to censor music, she got a big old hug by Tipper Gore herself. She's a freelance journalist for Entertainment Weekly and Rolling Stone magazine, and she's the lead singer of a rock and roll band called Brain Surgeons with a new CD called Box of Hammers. I'd like you to welcome Deborah Frost. Welcome, Deborah. Deborah, you're in it from every end here. Sure do. Just talk. What is your reaction to what you've heard today?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people have really valid viewpoints. I mean, and one problem if you censor things blankly is you're just cutting it out. You're not considering the context. And that's what you've got to do. I mean, yes, sex sells, but who's buying? You know, that
Stop.
Is really...
We've got to, I want to continue that point right after this. Sex sells, but who's buying? What can you do about sexually explicit music invading your home and influencing your kids? We'll talk about that also next.